everyone. This is a message for you today. It is Friday, March 17th, 2017. So happy St. Patrick's Day to those of you that are celebrating that and you have the Irish heritage. I don't have that in my family. However, I'm trying to celebrate with the green that I have, which is, I only have very few green items, like a Bernie t-shirt and my kukui nut, excuse me, necklace I got from Hawaii back when I was there in 2011. And so I'm wearing that today as my Irishness and bringing in some green. Plus it makes me feel like springtime is coming. So wow, it's been a week since I've left a video, and this is just a brief update of what's going on, what's been happening energetically, what's been going on with me. So I want to apologize to those of you who messaged me or commented, and I haven't been able to get back to your comments. Unfortunately, I've been not feeling well. So after the last video I did for all of you, my back went out, my lumbar spine, sacral, so my sacral chakra, root chakra, my sciatic nerve, and I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. So for several days, I just lay down, and that's all I could do to alleviate some of the nerve pain that I was having. So I apologize for being MIA for a little bit for some of you and having to reschedule some stuff. I've also been trying to get back to work this week, so I started back on Wednesday, and I'll be working a little bit every day, and but I'm going to be more conscious of my body because I'm still in physical therapy from my car accident. I know it's 4 years later, and I'm still over 4 years now, and I'm still dealing with that. But I have to honor that for me. So that's the first thing I want to say. Second thing, last weekend I held a Twinflame meditation. I did a webinar. It was really powerful, so powerful. I'm sharing that with you because I didn't expect it to be as powerful as it was. So what's really interesting, a few things came out of that. My guides that morning started channeling information to me, and I decided that I'm going to do these meditations monthly. That's something I intended anyway for all of you. And I'll be hosting one in April around the full moon. That's my plan, is to host them around the full moon. And when I do that one, at the beginning, there'll be channeled information, kind of updates what's going on energetically, what messages might be beneficial for twin flames. Then I do the meditation, and then there's Q&A, open information time. I don't make it a very long meditation because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I feel like coming together is so powerful. That's one of my missions, is bringing all of us together as twin flames. A lot of us feel really lonely on this journey and really on this path of waiting for our twin. And I say waiting, but we all still need to move forward and live our life and do our things. But it is kind of lonely. We might have family, we might have friends, but we still have this longing to be with our beloved. And unfortunately, if they're not there, or they're not taking their steps fast enough, in our terms, if you will, and it seems times it feels hopeless, I feel like it keeps us alone and feeling us separate, and I feel like bringing us together is going to be the empowerment that we need. But it's more than that. My guides are saying that bringing us together in a way that is easy, feasible for everybody, because I make the price so low that everybody should be able to participate, and because I really want to help you. My mission on this planet is to be of service, and that's how I've always been with my business. I will always be that way. So I feel like it's really important for all of us to help one another, to raise the frequency of us and the planet, but of our union potential, and of each other within. So during that meditation, it was so powerful for me. I was guiding it. So usually when I guide, I don't go very far because I'm in the energy and I'm really trying to be conscious, and I did. I was able to kind of go up a little bit, and I worked with my twin as I guided everyone else. And what was really cool was about an hour after that finished, my twin called me out of the blue. It's been over a month since I've heard from him, and he called me, and his first words to me were, "I think I feel you more and more." And I didn't say I think. He goes, "I feel you more and more." And it was weird because I answered just as he was dialing. I guess he was calling me, and I was going to go call him, and I went to hit my phone, and he's like, "Hi." He was surprised, we had the same time thing, because he had emailed me, and I was like, I better catch him before he goes. And then he was calling me at the same time. So it was kind of cool. And what was really cool is he felt it. And so I believe every one of the twins felt it, and that was something that one of the people asked a question about if our twin feels it. So that's confirmation that your twin that is connected to you feels it physically. Now, do they all understand what that means? No. Did my twin know that I was doing a meditation for twin flames and bringing in this energy to clear and help heal him? No, absolutely not. All he knew was he felt me. He felt the love. That's what he knew. And so my feeling is really powerful. So I'm actually going to add a link to this video so that if you want to purchase the meditation that already happened, you'll still feel it, because some people weren't able to make the call. Unfortunately, we had this time change, and they totally didn't know about it. I had no idea until the night before when my father told me, oh yeah, you have to change your clocks back. I'm like, what? No, it's too early. So it kind of screwed up schedules for people, and they missed it. So they were able to access the meditation afterwards, and they were able to receive it. So if that's something you're interested in hearing what happened and experiencing, by all means, please log in below. Oh my gosh, I can't even speak this morning. Please press the button below to get the information. So on top of that, a lot of information came in about the divine feminine and divine masculine. So one of the things that happened was the divine feminine and the divine masculine has been experiencing like shifting in their patterns. So the divine masculine energy right now is working on solar plexus issues and heart chakra issues. Huge deal, because recently, I don't know, a couple months ago now, I think I channeled that they're starting to step into their heart. They're beginning to open their heart more. What's really powerful about that is they are in their heart more. They are moving into that energy. So stuff that any fears in their heart, any fears of expressing love, and particularly for divine masculine, I'm hearing fears of expressing love, and I'm hearing fears of being loved, actually, and thinking they're worthy of it. That's like one of the big issues that's coming up for your divine masculine right now, and so that's surfacing big time in the divine masculine's field. Also, the power center, so their solar plexus. When you think of the solar plexus, you think of power and self-esteem. That's also the divine masculine's awakening happening there, because they're learning to use their power differently than they've been trained, and programmed, because they've been programmed, obviously. So they're beginning to see things a little differently, which is really cool. And they're beginning to play with the power a little bit and start to understand, like, you might find them to be a little bit more selfish. Wow, these are words that are coming in that I wasn't expecting, by the way. You might notice they're being a little more selfish or more self-centered behaving. Or you'll notice that they're really feeling insecure. I mean, I know for myself, for example, my twin, he's got a lot of insecurities at times, and that's always been like his thing, blocking him and preventing him. So he's got to work through that. So that's just going to keep surfacing for him until he faces it. And there's only so much that I can do on this end. I mean, I could do healing and clearing for him, but I have to really focus on my stuff that's surfacing for me. And so the divine masculine, if you are noticing that with your twin, recognize he's where he needs to be or she's where she needs to be. The divine masculine has to go through this change, within their spirit, within their heart and their solar plexus, major shifting in those chakras. So that's where their healing has been happening. And that's actually interesting information, because my guides are saying that the eclipse has kicked off all this stuff, right? It opened up, unlocked gateways for things to surface. It like really did. And it brought up emotions and all kinds of things for people. So while that's been happening, it's also, we had this beautiful full moon energy, which was very powerful, very, very powerful. It was great that we did the meditation on that day, because it was just, the power of the full moon was magnificent. But we're in the equinox energy. And so what is equinox? Equinox is about balancing the energy, right? So we're moving into balance. And so in order to do that, our beloveds have to get balanced, right? So the other piece, the divine feminine, what she's working on, or I'm going to say she just for the sake of it. So it's interesting. My lumbar spine, lower back leg, left leg, oh my God, the pain is horrible. That's where my injuries, I had literally 5 traumas, major traumas to my spine since I was 7. And it's like a weak spot for me now. And so whenever something goes wrong or goes out, it's always in that area. So I've been working on that for years, trying to heal that and clear it. And I was very upset about it. It was really difficult for me. And then last week, my guides had come through with a message about the divine feminine. I'm sorry, by the way, for being all over the place, but I have a class I'm about to teach in about 15 minutes, so I'm trying to get this done as quick as possible. So if I'm saying it really fast, I'm sorry. You might want to go in slow mode and see if you can hear me. So divine feminine, the energy of the divine feminine right now is in the sacral and the root chakra. So that's a focus for the divine feminine energy on the planet right now, sacral and root. So what does that mean? Well, what that means, again, it's about balance, right? It's all about balance. And they're showing me this beautiful energy. They're actually showing me the scales is what they're showing me. And they're showing that, the divine masculine has always been in the sacral and the root chakra, kind of their truth has been anchored here. Divine masculine energy has been anchored on the planet. And so the divine feminine has been so good about upholding and making sure that divine masculine has been supported. And so now the divine feminine it's time for her to anchor into the planet and be pervasive throughout this planet now and bring us back into a balance. So it's like she needs to flood the planet so that we could recognize that there's the equal pieces, bringing them together. So they're showing me the scales are they've been out of balance, so they're trying to balance them by bringing in the divine feminine. So what that means for the divine feminine energy, we are working in our root and our sacral chakras. Woo, big surprise. Look at my physical reaction, physical body. And I noticed not only am I going through the physical pain, I've had fears come up that I hadn't thought about in a long time. Fears, I've had worries coming up that I didn't even realize were there still. And I've had massive amounts of doubt surfacing, and doubt is about trusting ourselves, right? It's not just about our twin, doubting about my twin, by the way, that's what I meant. The doubt that's been coming up is not, it's not the typical energy of doubt. What I'm finding right now with everybody I've been working with, it's coming up from the very deepest part of us, doubting our own truth, doubting ourselves and not trusting us. So one of the big things that has come up for me is trust issues, especially with my twin, but also other people in my life, other people who've hurt me. And so one of the things that I would say is to look at that. So if you have doubt surfacing, underneath the doubt is trust. And it's not just trust about your twin. It's not just trust about people in your life. It's not even just trust about stuff in this lifetime. It's previous stuff that we've believed that have been embedded in our DNA about not being able to trust other people. And, it's not trust on the surface. So please recognize that. So it's not like you're going to say, well, I don't trust my friends. Of course I trust my friends. It's not that. It's a vulnerability that we're not always willing to tap into and we don't always like to look at. And I feel like that's what's been coming up, particularly for the divine feminine. And it brings us down to the core. So right now, they're showing me, it's so funny, so much is going on as I'm talking to you all, and I feel really, my back's still hurting today, so I'm sorry for shifting. Back is much better than it's been though. And what's interesting is I feel like one of the things with that trust, let's take it into the twin flame energy. So let me step aside for a moment and talk about what's been going on for some of the divine feminine in my life that I know. So twin flame couples that I know in my life, the divine feminine aspect that I've known, and I'm friendly with, that I know pretty well, clients and friends, I have to tell you, every single one of them, literally every single one of them, have something going on with their sacral and root chakras, on a physical level. And I feel like that might be because as a divine feminine and as a very spiritual being, an intuitive being, I tend to like to go up and out and be in spirit and not be here in the physical. So I might have dealt with my physical stuff a little more, but my spiritual stuff a little bit more than my physical. And that's something that I know this last several years I've been really focusing on bringing the physical energy into my reality and paying attention to what my physical body is doing. So when I'm allergic to things. Everything's weird today. So when I'm talking about that, the trust is like a very core wound for the twin flames. It's particularly for divine, it's for the divine feminine and divine masculine, by the way, but particularly at this time for the divine feminine, trusting. And what I know to be true inside of me has always been my truth. And I may be looking outside myself for answers and guidance from other people, but I only know my truth, you know? So if I'm reaching out to somebody asking for some guidance and advice, that's me giving my power away. Now, am I doing that because I want to give my power away? No, I just want some affirmation or some, sometimes I want to just not carry the load alone. Again, that whole unity coming together piece, like we all need each other. But the truth is inside of me. And, you know, Archangel Michael worked years for teaching me, like, trust what you know to be true in your heart. Trust what you know to be true in your heart. When you speak to your twin, listen here. Listen in your heart. Don't listen in your head. Don't listen in your ears, because he's going to say things that are not going to make sense, but you're going to start to feel the truth there. And so one of the most profound things that I'm discovering this week and working with people that I've worked with the last few days and with the messages that have been coming in, it's a deep wound of trust issues that's causing us to have doubt. And that doubt is being amplified by any entities or energies around us. And because we're in a world right now where it's in a physical world that's seemingly very chaotic. So that energy just kicks up dust and has all these frenetic energies around us. And so if we're in doubt, then we're not in that alignment of our soul, because our alignment is truth, right? The truth of our soul is our alignment. And so if we're in that, we have that frenetic energy, we have a little doubt, then that frenetic energy can grab hold and get in there and make you question things and not trust it. And then that, when people are helping you or they're guiding you, they're reading that energy and they might see that and not your truth. So being in your trust is like really, it's so important. It's not even about, like, I've actually said to my twin, I don't trust you. I don't know how to trust you. And that is truth, because a lot of times we would say things and promise things and disappoint me by not doing it. So that's my little inner child. You know, think about a little child. You give a child, I'm going to pick you up at 7 o'clock, and then they never show up, the person. And then the child's disappointed and devastated. Well, that little inner child's still inside of you. And so those wounds are not just from this lifetime, but they are from, you know, experiencing disappointment with our twin, disappointment with our family, whatever happened that caused our first disappointment in this physical life will actually be what's getting triggered when our twin does that. Now, does he really disappoint me? Yes. He literally doesn't follow through on a lot of things that he says. So how do I handle that, and what do I do with that? And that's been my big question, because I'm so frustrated by it. Like, I don't want to wait anymore, you know, just like all of you, I'm sure. You don't want to wait anymore. You just want to move forward. And so what I'm trying to do is to remind myself what trusting me is like, because inside of me, I know who he is. He's my beloved. And inside of me, I know that he's growing and changing and that we are going to be together. I know that. But there's that little girl that's scared and feeling disappointed. So how do I quell her? I just need to go in and talk with her and tell her that she's safe and she's loved. And that's actually a mantra I gave to one of my clients last evening. It was really funny. I kept hearing it over and over, and it's something that I actually have on my computer. So let me close the thing for a second. I have a little thing. I always cover my camera, and so on top it says, "It feels good to know that I'm safe and I'm loved." That's like such a beautiful affirmation for all divine feminine right now, because one of the things that's kicking up in our root and sacral is safety, right? Feeling safe and feeling loved. And both of those pertain to our twin flame, but they also pertain to like our life experiences here on this planet in our physical reality now. So what in your life are you focusing on? And if you're not, I ask you, what's going on right now inside of you? Pay attention to what's going on in your body, because your physical messages will come to you clearly, but also your mental and emotional stuff will start surfacing and showing you who you really are. So that's very important for you all to like look into, because that's going to help remove any blocks. It's a great way to clear. And this equinox energy is giving us that opportunity for it. To be honest, we've had such great opportunities in the last 3 weeks, and I feel like we're not done yet. We have another at least 6 weeks is what I'm hearing, which doesn't make me happy totally, because I'm like, but there is amazing progress happening on another end that we're not seeing, okay, because we're trying to get into divine alignment, which is, again, divine and perfect order is in divine timing. That's all about divine alignment, aligning ourselves to what it is we want. So one last thing before I go, because I feel like I'm rambling, but there's so much more I could say and do. And it's really cool, by the way, when I'm working with people recently and seeing where the string goes to find that connection. It's really powerful to clear that for that person and to show them what they need to do, because sometimes it's not for me to clear fully. It's like something I have to bring up to your awareness, send it out to you so you see it, and then take that energy and decide, am I ready to let this go? And then when you do that, it's like this really profound thing, and I feel it. It's like very cool. I'm doing that with myself right now because I need to figure out this whole trust issue with my twin. I do have that, and I do tell him how I feel, and that's something that needs to be more in my truth with him. Even though I don't think he's not doing it on purpose, and I know that it's his own stuff, his own patterns, obviously. So one of the things that I noticed, one last thing I wanted to share. I kept saying I was going to do that. One last thing I wanted to share. So at the end of my phone call with my twin flame, talked to me about a movie that I have not seen yet, and he said, it's amazing. It's wonderful. And I said, really? And he was like really passionate about what he was describing. And I was like, really? So what is so great about this? Like, what do you find so great? Because he doesn't talk like that normally. And he goes, it's beyond wonderful. And I'm like, okay, but that's not telling me. So what is it about this movie that makes you feel so great about it? And I'm going to end it with this. It makes you think anything's possible. Those were his words. This is not a typical thing from my beautiful, beloved man. He doesn't always speak in that way. He doesn't always share stuff like that. And it actually was so natural and so beautiful. It has not been his normal projected pattern to share his heart in that way and to share those words and to actually that epiphany. But that tells me his heart is open and he does believe anything's possible. And I totally felt like that was a message for me. While he's still like getting through his stuff, it is a message to me that he's coming and he believes we can come together, and it's something more than what we both knew originally, So I want you to leave that with you. It makes you think everything is possible. It is. Anything is possible. So I send you so much love. I will do a reading soon. I will probably be back with you at some point soon. Namaste.